I want to thank everybody for coming today. We're going to be conducting this in English for two reasons. One is it's a message to the diaspora, and a lot of the diaspora, they don't understand Armenian. So for the benefit of them, and also because we have Voice of America here covering it, they want it for part of their report. And I think that it's important that we conduct it in that fashion. And because we have some guests here that don't speak Armenian. So today we've called this meeting, which, can I borrow that agenda? I'm sorry, I know you want to follow it. Okay, so I've been corrected, by the way. This meeting is my opinion, which means my opinion, and it's the Armenian government opposition in the diaspora, meaning my opposition or your opposition to the Armenian government in the diaspora. And it's going to be a very, hopefully quick and informative meeting. And I'm on agenda item number 1 right now. I'm introducing this. So the way this meeting came about was a week and a half ago, I think, Burgen had organized, and others had organized, a protest in front of the Armenian consulate's office on the anniversary of the Sasnadzadev movement in Yerevan. And LA Times covered it, and the article was published, and somebody within the diaspora, not important who he is, made a comment, posted and made a comment about how this is not useful, how people that are protesting in front of the consulate are not helpful, and it's almost like a Bolshevik type attitude and so on, which spiraled into a discussion that became very hot at times, and somebody named Sev suggested that we get together, all of us get together, those opposing sides, for coffee. So that gave me the idea of why not? Let's get together for coffee. So we organized this, and the way that it's going to work is we're going to start, and we're just going to go around from table to table, and you have 2 minutes or less to introduce yourself. This is agenda item number 2, and share with us what your concerns are in Armenia in 2 minutes or less. And then we're going to move on to the next agenda item. So let's start right here. Because we're going clockwise. Okay, so introduce yourself and share with us your concerns.
My name is Natalie, and I want to see my country in the good hands with a good president. That's all I want.
Okay. And next.
Hi, my name is Lucy Olagimian. I'm an Armenian American citizen. So my concern is about the regime right now, which is encouraging Armenia. I think whatever the government is doing it's totally wrong, and wrong not by the people, by the law as well. So I want to really the free Armenian, not the way the free they represent to the other countries. That's all I want.
Hi, my name is Irena, and I'm originally from Lebanon. I've lived here for 40 years. I'm very, very upset what's going on there regarding the corruption and no freedom of speech, and poverty is just insane. Unemployment, injustice, everybody's leaving because of the lawlessness of the country. It's ruled by a mafia. They just want to do whatever they want, and nobody can stop them.
My name is Harut Bronosian. I'm very much aware of the situation in Armenia for the past 25 years, and the depopulation is the #1 problem, and nobody is doing anything about it, either Armenia or the diaspora. That means that they are part of the destruction of Armenia, and there's a plan of achieving that. They already did that in 25 years, and the remaining 1.5 can be done the next 25 years. So we have to wake up. We have to oppose any kind of policies that this regime has created, and has silenced the diaspora as well, and they are silencing the people in Armenia, and we have to show our voice and opposition to a regime that has made a beautiful country of Armenia the only homeland that we have, a stranger from the diaspora. Although they invite the diasporans to the Armenia Diaspora Conference, but in that conference there is no repatriation discussion, there is no the immigration issue, these two are the major issues, but they are doing that so that the diaspora, as usual, becomes the source of the money and Gatan Gov type situation. And the diaspora simply must wake up and not be emotional towards Armenia, but be more pragmatic in a way that they have to see black as black and white as white, and know who is responsible, and all those who are responsible for the destruction of Armenia must be brought to justice.
Hi, my name is Angela Barsegian, and I'm an attorney. And I'm against the regime in Armenia because that's not the Azadanga Hayastan that our grandparents and our parents dreamed for. And that's not an Armenia where the diaspora Armenians would wish to immigrate to. And unfortunately, they created a regime where the government is being supported with over 30,000 police officers. It is a dictatorship where the constitutional rights of the people to free speech, free assembly, human rights are violated on daily and hourly basis. I'm protesting all the wrongs they're doing against people who are speaking out against corruption. I'm protesting for the unhuman conditions in the jails in Armenia, for the unjust court system where judges are arbitrarily putting people in jail for years and years for doing just about nothing illegal, on the contrary, for exercising their constitutional rights. I am protesting in order to encourage my countrymen in Armenia to do the same, so that hand in hand we can do public relations and spread this shame all over the world, because it is not an Armenian issue, it's a human issue. It's an issue that should concern every citizen of the world. And we should all stand together and fight corruption in Armenia and fight the inhumane treatment of people in Armenia. That's why I'm here.
Hi, my name is Stefan Markarian. I'm a doctor. I don't know about the government, but I know that Serge Sarkisyan has been in the government circles long time, and maybe he has done very good things in the past. But the bottom line is that he is either incapable doing what he should do, or he was forced, or I don't know. The bottom line comes to that he is doing harm to our people. Instead of our policy being from 1920, when Panturanists started butchering the Baku Armenian community, which was fighting against the Turkish Ottoman empires, starting the issue from that day, because the Armenians built the Baku and Tiflisi, they are talking about returning some of our land instead of demanding the rest of our land. That's the point when he cannot be patriot. He cannot be smart. And if he cannot deal with Putin and the Western powers' pressure, he should step down and let the others come and take care, or else he will be considered a traitor. He should choose which way he wants to be called. the other thing, that the mines are destroying our homeland, the nature, which I've seen many of our villagers complaining they don't have water, they are polluted and toxified. I know that those problems will occur like it occurs in third world countries in Africa, and after that the damage is very irreversible. So it's another way of doing genocide to our people, directly or indirectly. I know that we need money, but the problem is Russia and the West should know that we are defending them in front of that butchers, Al-Qaeda's, which they brought their Talibans to fight against Artsakh. If Europe was not what happened in recently, it did not happen in 1990s. The Artsakh conquered and beat them. They owe us a lot. And Putin should know that before him, the Russian Soviet government was tested and fell down because of they could not handle the Karabakh Artsakh issue. And the fakeness of their perestroika came down and they destroyed their own. And when we fought our armies during the World War I and the World War II, we were with our allies, Western and Russian allies. They betrayed us many times, and they are trying to do now. They will not succeed. We will be able to stand against all those odds, and someday they will recognize that. Thank you for the time.
Hi, my name is Gurgen Makidarian. I'm with Armenian Renaissance New Organizations of Diaspora, and the title of this meeting, Opposition to Government of Armenia. I want to state that a few years ago it was unthinkable that diaspora ever will be opposed to the government. They always think that government of Armenia represents Armenia, our country, our people, and we need to stand together in being these many problems with Armenia, that we need to support government all the way, all the time. But after 9 years of governing, Sargsyan proved with his actions multiple times that he's harming our homeland. He's harming our people, and he's losing land. Once, it happens once in 25 years under his watch. He stated it's unimportant land. For some reason, he assumed he can think and put a price on Armenian land himself without considering the whole Armenian nation. We don't tell him that there is no land unimportant or cheap or insignificant. In his words, all square meters of our homeland are important and untouchable. Whoever loses that is responsible for bringing it back. So we opposing. If we don't oppose him, his theory of unimportant lands will grow, and he's already indicating that he's willing to give up some extra other land of Armenia for, in his words, peace. Without understanding, he's losing our homeland, he's losing strategic territories, and he's weakening our homeland. He doesn't understand that, so diaspora starts shifting. We're starting to voice our voice. We're starting to unite. This was unthinkable a few years ago. Now it's becoming real. Numbers are right now very low, but they're gonna grow. And we see that on our hand, on our watch, Sargsyan becomes a dictator. We have many proofs of his behavior, dictatorship behavior, simply saying whoever wants to live by his rules can live very safe life in Armenia, but whoever opposes him gonna end up in jail. We have dozens and dozens of people ending up in jail because they simply oppose his policy. So we need to stand by them. We need to stand by our heroes who were not afraid to raise their voice against this brutal regime. It's brutal because they came and they beat 1 year ago our citizens. It's well documented throughout the media all over the world. All international organizations and even governments acknowledge that beating. And at the end, 1 year later, we see 10 citizens from that district, Saritar district, are incarcerated, and they are in a court. They're facing 5 to 10 years in prison. But people and police, that brutality that happened, and again, it's very well documented. About 30 journalists were beaten, operators beaten, physically people were beaten. Police entered people's homes and beat them. They beat elderly, they beat children. Children were screaming, saying, please don't in their houses. This is underlines only can happen in dictatorship. In a normal country, this cannot happen because 1 year later, none of these who did this is under investigation. But about 10 citizens of that or that district are in investigation, and they're facing 5 to 10 years in prison for defending their own homes. This is dictatorship, so diaspora should shift its opinion. We need to stand by people of Armenia. When we're saying our homeland, we should not understand the brutal and dictatorship regime of Sargsyan. No, he's not representation of our homeland. His legitimacy in elections is so low that his legitimacy is questionable altogether as a president. So when we're saying homeland, we're saying our country, people of Armenia, our constitution. When I was present there during constitutional referendum, I saw how it was done. It was simply about 80% of people opposing to that constitutional change. I couldn't find any significant numbers who were for it. But they then draw the numbers like 50 or 60% of people, and they got the new constitution, which prolongs Sargsyan's personal life in politics. That's what it is. And diaspora understand that. People starting to understand that, and people getting together, we're going to oppose it. We're going to oppose, and we're going to stand by people of Armenia, period. All our heroes that voice their voice against this regime, they end up in jail. They're trying to blame them for some, I don't know, and they're talking about, they assume they have a right to talk about law, and they bringing that examples to our heroes when they violating these laws all day long. People voting by immigrating from that country. If there are people immigrating, that's the best objective recognition of Sargsyan's work. Instead of inflow, we have outflow of citizens from Armenia. It's all very significant facts, and yes, in diaspora we have people that thinks Sargsyan cannot stay in power for another single day. In fact, he must be arrested. He must stand trial in a court of people's law, people's court, and see what people will decide on his fate. We have significant doubts that he's capable of ruling our country, and we have almost a lot of proof that he's dictatorship, and we have a proof that he's violating his constitutional position that he's holding. For that, he must be accountable in a court of law and sentenced life into prison. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natalie Shahan. I'm here today because I believe there are some changes that need to be made, and I believe today, because of the dictatorship that is happening in Armenia, Armenians who are out of the country actually have more power to make those changes and help the people inside to support them and to make those changes. I'm very concerned about the violation of human rights in Armenia. I believe people in Armenia should be able to practice their freedom of speech, their human rights. There should not be any single political prisoner in Armenia, but unfortunately today we have so many of them. So that's the main concern.
Hi, my name is Tamar Hovhannisyan. I'm actress and director. Was born in Armenia, but last 17, 18 years I used to live in Los Angeles, in the United States. The last 4 years I went back to my homeland. I have dual citizenship. Last year I started this protest against this corrupted and criminal government after the short war in April. I started to protest really openly. I think this revolt, what happened in July last year, was the only way to fight somehow against this government, which is really dictatorship. And I'm going to continue this until we'll see the changes, really changes. And I think all Armenian people from all over the world think about Armenia as a homeland and about Yerevan as their capital. And all the problems in Armenia can be solved with all Armenians in diaspora, Artsakh and Armenia.
Hello, my name is Harut Erkazaryan. I'm here to support the Sasna Tzrer. Sasna Tzrer is the heart of Armenian people. Sasna Tzrer is the conscience of Armenian people. Sasna Tzrer is the Armenian people. Any Armenian all around the world, if has one drop of pure Armenian blood, has to support Sasna Tzrer. Because Sasna Tzrer had the brave and the guts to stand up against dictatorship in Armenia, Ser Sargsyan illegal government that hasn't been elected by Armenian people. Ser Sargsyan doesn't have the vote, and he just grabbed the power by illegal means, by bribery, by massacre, by March 1st massacre. That's it. Sooner or later, his administration has to leave the country, the power, and Armenia has to have a free election, has a democratic government. That's all. Thank you.
You look familiar also. My name is Silva Natalie Manukyan. I come from generations of believers in human rights, and I'm also considered the godmother of Armenian libraries and literacy in our homeland, Armenia. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. I've been listening to all of your viewpoints, and all of those points made combined represent my point of view, depending on which glasses I'm wearing. Making our voices heard collectively and persistently is a necessity. Heroism is to be applauded, as long as it is considered genuine and humble for the sake and love of our homeland. We must never give up our genuine words, our actions, and our dignity. Thank you.
So my name is Ara Manoukian, and I am the organizer of this event. And my concerns in Armenia today is the lack of rule of law and fair treatment of our people. That is my primary concern, because I do believe that if rule of law is in place, everything else will eventually fall into place. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to move to we're going to move on to the working session. I'm going to introduce a friend of mine who has come down here to conduct this working session. He's going to have to slide out here. His name is Paul Kazarian. And I'm going to let him, actually I'm going to let Paul introduce himself, so we can get to know. You're going to have to be on this side, and I'm going to get you your easel, or maybe you can grab your easel, I don't know.
So nice to meet you all. I haven't met you all actually yet. My name is Paul Kazarian, and I was born and raised in the States, up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I don't speak Armenian. I know some basic words, but that's about it. And my background is I work for Wells Fargo for our corporate offices, and I lead a lot of change initiatives within the bank, across the bank, and its global operations. And so we have an interesting methodology that we sometimes use to get a lot of people with a lot of different opinions to come together and to focus on the things that are most important and the things that are likely to actually make change. And it's useful because it gives a good first step. It takes a conversation from opinions and conversation to what are actual tangible steps and what are some meaningful things that can make a difference to accomplish a more consistent goal. So we're just going to go through this. This is going to be a very, very fast thing. So I want to mention just the process. So first, I'm just a facilitator. I'm not stating my opinion. This isn't about me. I'm just going to kind of lead all of you through the process. We have a bunch of Post-it notes. So each of you are going to get a little stack of Post-it notes. And what I'm going to ask you to do is on each Post-it, I'm going to give maybe 5 minutes time max. And a pen. So you'll have a Post-it note and a pen. And what I'm going to ask each of you to do is write down as many specific problems you think, or that you know, like what are the problems with Armenia and about Armenia. So the things that are annoying you the most about Armenia. Now, I'll tell you right now, if you make a very, if you say something very vague like, I don't like the president, or the president is bad, or the president is evil, okay?
Yeah.
They may be true statements, but that doesn't help,
Yeah.
okay? So you need to write down something that is specific, right? And the reason why you're going to write down something that's specific is because the next step is going to be coming up with a solution for that. So if you say, Surge is bad, the solution is remove Surge and everyone's happy, right? Well, no, not necessarily. You might get another evil guy in there, okay? So if we could pass out the Post-its and pens, and I'll help with that, and then I'll give 5 minutes, and if you have questions, stop me, get my attention, and then, so remember to try to be as specific as possible, and if you come up with 5 to 10 to 15 of these Post-its, that's perfectly fine, okay? Let's get started. So now what I wanted to do, this is how we're going to do the next thing. I'm going to take one of yours, okay? Maybe you could read it, and then I'm going to put it up here. And if you wrote anything down in any of your Post-its, raise your hand and I'll come get it and I'll put them all together.
If it's related,
If it's related, if it's similar.
Okay,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but if it's similar.
Same concept.
Same concept, yeah. So now you
My-
wrote,
yeah,
go ahead,
my-
nice and loud.
My first concern about Armenia is there is a lot of political prisoner in Armenia.
Political prisoners?
Yeah.
Okay, so political prisoners. Anyone else have political prisoners?
I do, but I have to find.
Okay,
Hold on.
find it and then bring it on up. This is like the Price is Right. And how about over here, Harun? Did you have?
No, I don't have
You didn't have that
that.
one? Okay.
It's
All right.
not. It's from somewhere.
That's fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter who's from.
Okay.
Okay, what's the next one you have?
There is no law. There is,
Lawlessness.
Lawlessness?
yeah.
Do you mean lawlessness with the people,
country,
the
no.
government?
The people, they don't have a voice.
Okay, so lawlessness.
I have
Enforce
that
laws.
too.
Any? Okay, so in the back, you don't have that?
Not specifically related to that.
Okay, all right. What's next?
Yeah, there is no job. The people are very poor. Some people, they don't have a home.
There is something about economy in general.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it is.
Poverty.
Access to basic needs here.
That's it.
That, I guess that
Thank
goes
you.
with
Yep.
that.
That's
Yep.
for me, that's three most problems we need to fix in Armenia.
All right. Anything else over here? Did you have something different?
Yeah, I give something different.
Yeah. What else?
There are two things that I can add. No freedom of speech.
Okay, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Going once, going twice? No?
And then police brutality.
Okay, now would this be under lawlessness?
I don't think is police brutality under lawlessness.
No.
I don't think
Still
so.
under the human rights violation in general.
Okay, anyone have, or does that go with freedom of speech under like a
think.
human
Yeah,
rights?
right, yeah.
Okay, anyone for human rights things?
It's dictatorship.
Okay, well that's definitely a human rights issue. Anything else over there in your stack?
I had uphold constitution, access to education, reverse immigration, election fraud. I don't know if election fraud is lawlessness. I think it is.
That would be, yeah, sure.
Is lawlessness an independent court?
No, that you're encouraging lawlessness. That's right.
Discouraging. No, the law, the courts are supposed to be independent, but the government's controlling them.
Yeah, I have that
Okay.
too. Like about the court not being independent.
So I guess that's kind of
Independent courts.
lawlessness.
Okay, next one. Independent courts.
Government. Hold on. No, I guess we talked about it, but we never wrote it. Never mind.
All right. Now, and what do you have next? What's the next one?
I gave you all.
What's? I see a yellow
No,
piece.
no.
Is that the other?
was
Okay.
all together
All right,
and
okay.
I separated.
Now while you were out, what we're doing is I'm asking each person what they wrote down, and then let's say you say something and others have something similar. We put them together. So since you were out, let's talk about the ones that you have that you wrote down.
Corruption.
Corruption. Okay.
Yeah, this is corruption too.
For independent court.
Corruption.
Corruption.
Okay. Corruption.
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay. Would that be related to human rights?
I think, honestly, it will be a little bit different. It will be a separate category.
Separate category. Okay. All right. Anything else for corruption? Once, twice. Okay. What's the next one you got?
Selling soul to dictators for profit.
Selling what?
Selling one's soul
Soul.
to the dictator.
Yeah.
No, we're putting dictators over here as a human rights issue. So we'll do that one. Okay. And then the next one.
Rule of dictators law instead of laws of land.
Okay. Rules of dictator. Where do you think that should go?
What was it, sorry?
The rule of the dictator's law instead of the laws of the land. Would that go here with the
That
law,
would be
independent
with
court,
the court.
or would it be corruption?
Court issue, corruption.
Corruption. Would the selling the soul for profit go under corruption too? Okay.
I mean, in my opinion.
That's fine. It's fine. I'm asking you all. Did you have any others?
No.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay, we have the field of culture lost its value.
The what of culture?
Field of culture, just
Field of-
cultural.
okay,
The
cultural
cultural
lost value.
values are no longer valuable,
Okay.
basically.
All right.
Immigration.
Now hold on one at a time.
Okay.
Anyone else have something on culture? Culture issues? No? Okay. Okay, next one.
I have immigration from Armenia, like people leaving Armenia. Yeah.
People leaving Armenia?
Right.
Okay. So what is the problem with people leaving Armenia?
It's emptying out.
No one's left. Okay, is that what you had, Silva?
You have one more, Nana?
Yes, I
Okay,
have.
no, I was just asking if that was one. Hang on. Okay, what's the
It's
next?
education related. So the field of education in general is no longer satisfying young people, so young people leave to get education other
Is
places.
that similar to the immigration?
I guess so. Wasn't my idea.
Education, I don't know if that's the same thing. Access to education.
Let's put that with the immigration.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both
Sure.
under the immigration.
And then I have one, uphold the Constitution.
Let's see. Corrupt government, independent court.
Maybe it's under corruption because it's not being upheld. It's the basic Constitution.
Okay.
I think it's all, probably it's law, it's probably court.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, because the Constitution's not being upheld. It's part of law. It is our law.
Okay, so law would be here. Where? Lawlessness here.
Okay.
That mine also probably not corruption, rule of, that also probably is in that area, yeah.
Enforcing laws versus corruption.
Yeah, I think it's about laws, not about individual laws, but
We got it. We got to move there. Did you have anything else? You were done? The next step is what I'm going to give everyone a handful of little green stickers. Okay? And so everyone's going to have the same number. And each sticker, each green dot is a vote. Okay? So we're a democracy in this restaurant. Here's how this is going to go, okay? Harud, I don't want to lose you.
I'm here.
Okay, I want to make sure that you get what we're doing. Each green dot is a vote, and you can put one green dot, and you can spread them out, or you can put all of them on one thing. Okay? So they're votes. You can stack up votes, okay? But here's the thing. I want you to put the dots on the things that if that problem is solved, it will be the most significant improvement. It'll make a really big improvement to Armenia and Armenians. Okay, so that's how you're supposed to choose which one do you put the green dots on. Do each of you understand that?
Just put the green dot on the most significant thing.
If this problem is solved, that will have the biggest impact.
Okay, all right.
Okay? So we're not talking solutions. So here's 4. I wish I had scissors. Sorry. No, it's okay.
So we can put either on 4 different things
Or you can put all 4 of them on the same
If you really
thing.
want,
Really passionate about it.
yeah, if you're really passionate, that one thing, if this one thing is solved, it'll make the biggest difference for Armenians and Armenia. Okay, not just what we think, but it'll actually help people. Okay, so I'm going to hand these out. You go ahead and get up and put the stickers.
Is solved for the future.
In the future, if that grouping is solved.
Right.
You got yours?
Mom, you want yours?
Yes.
There you go. Ara?
Yes, please.
Where is the corruption?
Thank you. Corruption,
Where is it?
and a whole bunch of it right there.
Oh,
All right, so this one, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 2, 4, 5. 3,
6,
2,
7,
4, 6. Thank you.
3, 6, 7, 8.
Yep, okay.
I thought it's
So-
gonna be more this than this one, but.
It's kind of funny how that works out, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this is number 1.
Number 2, low. There is no low.
So proud. No, that's not it.
That's
No.
as far as we go. We only do the three.
We're just doing the top three.
Nice.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, only the top three. All right. So, you want to take a picture? Let me get out of your way. Okay. That's your vote stacked up.
This is real vote. It's not the Sersarkisyan vote. The Armenia's election system.
Very new to Armenian people.
Here you go.
This democratic country.
You all voted. You all got 5. Harun here, he gets 20 green sticks.
Let me tell
That's
you.
Armenian.
Joe. This is Joe.
I know.
Obama calls Sersarkisyan, listen, can you help me for election? Listen, I want to, can you help me for this election? Sersarkisyan says, no problem, Mr. President. So he sent someone, few people from Armenia, and November 4th comes, elections are done in America. Next day, Obama calls to the Sersarkisyan, said, President Sarkisyan, what did you do? He says, what happened? I mean, you should be ashamed of yourself. What did you do? Sarkisyan said, Mr. President, tell me what happened. He says, well, the election was done in America, but Sarkisyan won.
Oh my God, that's
Sarkisyan
amazing.
won the election. You see how cruel they are? I mean, even the guys, the other day I told in front of Counsel, if Swedish Academy of Sciences establishes a Nobel Prize in cheating the election, Armenia every year will get the golden prize, first place. Believe me.
That's so.
Maybe that's what they're working towards.
That's funny. That's a great story. Thank you. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna split up into teams of 3 people. Okay? So we lost her. She's out. So 3 people, and
How long is this going to take?
this one will take, I think, 10 minutes, 15 minutes max.
What are we doing? We have to.
We're gonna come up with solutions for these. So your ideas for the solutions. Okay, you're all ready to go. Okay, so I guess what we can do.
We've got 3, and
Let's corruption is kind of like a general vague thing. Maybe what we'll do is we'll split up into 2 groups. One takes on the police brutality and human rights, and then the other one takes on the enforcing the laws. Okay, so maybe you 2 can join these 2. So you'll be one team. You'll be one group, and the rest of you will be another group. Now, do we have sheets of paper?
oh yeah, hey, in the folder, more than
Well, we'll take that.
there's blank paper in that.
So just 2 sheets of paper, 1 per group. Okay?
This is for this group, and this is for.
This.
One of you get the blank sheet of paper and a pen. And for the next 10 minutes, as the group comes up with ideas to solve that problem, you write that down on a piece of paper. You got your sheet? Okay. So on your sheet of paper, when other people come up with ideas to solve
human rights, right?
the enforcement of laws and lawlessness and
We're doing the human rights one.
So come up with solutions to this problem.
Okay, we
And
are
she'll write them down.
For human rights.
Okay, so you
We'll squeeze
tell
through. Just look at the whiteboard.
She'll
Okay. So Nano,
Hold on.
anything else? It's pretty good. I think we're done.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, they're done too.
Okay. Sounds good.
So really quickly, because you guys did not hear what they came up with, and you did not hear what they came up with. So who had the paper?
Number 1, Operation Nemesis. Number 2, educate citizens of their rights. Number 3, empower citizens and stand by them. Number 4, come up with the model based on successful implementations of human rights from around the world. Number 5, document and
And disseminate.
And disseminate, okay.
Disseminate.
Violations of human rights. And number 6, establish a space where people can speak freely to an audience who is there.
Okay, now, would you read, hey, everyone else? Okay? So Silva's going to read the things that this team came up with. Okay, so Silva?
Okay. Number 1, change government. Number 2, election by the people, for the people. Number 3, strategic planning with timelines, goals, objectives, and evaluative criteria. Number 4, eliminate the president. Number 5, unification of organizations through their representatives, not just for the ceremonial superficiality of it. And number 6, prepare a glossary with definitions.
Thank you. That's it. This exercise is done. Now the question is, what do you want to do with it?
Okay, so the next step is that, what I propose is that we're going to compile this information, and then we are going to put together working groups that will actually look for detailed solutions that can be implemented. And beyond that, we have closing comments by everybody. Everybody gets to go around and for 1 minute, 60 seconds, say what they would like to say as a closing statement. So,
I think everyone's done.
Does anybody have any closing comments? No? Okay, so we're going to be announcing the next meeting soon. We'll contact everybody. And that's it.
I think it was great.
All right.
Okay.